Hello, and it's great to be with you here for this virtual assembly. Something that I never thought I'd be doing, but here we are. And it's great that I'm able to do this and to share with you in the assembly, as I'm not able to come and visit you at the school as normal. For those of you that maybe have forgotten or don't know who I am, maybe you're a parent watching at home, my name is the Reverend John Bishop, and I work at Croxley Green Baptist Church with the other ministers there and with the other ministers here in Croxley Green. And we often come in to each school to share in a story or in an assembly, just to give us something to think about, or something for us to ponder and to share with each other on that journey. And although, as I say, I can't come in and be with you to do that, I am able to do it via technology. So I'm going to tell you just a short story to perhaps give you something to think about. So let me tell you this story all about how Jesus has power over even some of the scariest things in our world. Jesus had been teaching all day to the people, and by now it was beginning to get a little bit late. The disciples started to get the boats ready to take Jesus over the lake to the other side, to where they wanted to be for the next day. Jesus told them to get ready, and he would join them in the boat after he had dismissed all the crowds. And everyone was so grateful for Jesus that none of them wanted to leave. But eventually Jesus managed to get everyone to go home, and he headed back to the boats. And he climbed in the boat and was really quite tired by this point. He'd been talking and healing people all day long, and what he really needed now was a good rest. And well, as the boat started to head out onto the lake, the rocking motion of the boat, the sound of the wind in the sails, and the gentle lapping of water against the side of the boat sent Jesus off into a nice deep sleep. But as the boat headed out deeper and deeper into the deeper water, the storm hit. You see, in those parts of the world, sometimes storms could hit out of the blue, and when they hit, they were really quite bad. And at first, it seemed to be okay. The disciples, many of whom were fishermen, coped very well with it, holding the ropes and pulling in the sails and taking the boats on a suitable course around the worst of the storm. But soon this storm became so great and so powerful that even the hardy fishermen that were following Jesus were scared. They thought that they were going to drown as the waves crashed over the sides of the boat, and so they rushed to the front of the boat to wake Jesus up, who somehow was still fast asleep in the boat. They shook him and said, "Jesus, wake up! We're going to drown. Don't you care about us?" And Jesus woke up. He looked at the disciples and he looked at the storm. And he said, "Be still." Immediately the wind stopped and the waves became calm. At his word, the storm stopped. The disciples were amazed at this. Jesus was clearly someone who had immense power to be able to command the winds and the waves to stop by the power of his voice. At that point, the disciples knew that this man was worth following, and they spent the rest of their days following and listening to Jesus, going wherever he went and doing whatever he said, because they trusted him, because he helped them through the things that scared them the most. Now, I don't know about you, but I get quite scared sometimes. For me, it's heights. Going up somewhere really tall and really high scares me. There was one time where I did the treetop walk with my son and his class at school, and I really was quite scared, climbing all the way up to the top and then walking all the way around the platform that wobbled occasionally, which was slightly scary. And I got it eventually all the way around. I managed it, but I had to hold my son's hand just to be on the safe side. Another time when I was in London, I went up the Fire of London Monument, which is a big spiral staircase that goes up to the top of a really tall tower. And there's not a lot of room on the stairs, and there's not a lot of room when you get to the top. And although it's safe and you can't fall, I was terrified. I really was scared to be up there. I was holding on to the bricks as I was making my way around the staircase, and when I got to the top, everyone else was peering out over the edge, and I was having to hold onto the brick behind me just to stay safe as I walked around with my family. There are lots of things that we can be scared of, and that's okay. Some of you might be scared of spiders, or maybe you're scared of the dark, or maybe there's something else that you're scared of. Maybe you're like me, you don't like heights. Lots of things that can scare us. And that's okay. And it's okay to say, actually, I'm a bit scared about this. Because that's what the disciples did, the friends of Jesus. When the storm became too much, they said to him, we're scared. And you can do that too. You can tell a grown-up, or you can tell God that you're scared about something and ask him for help. Because I believe that when we are scared, if we ask for help, help will be given. And obviously we're living in a time where things are a bit scary. There's lots of things we don't know about what's going to happen or how things are going to be. But when we have our friends and our family and the people we trust, and if you believe in God, if you believe that he is there, you have him to talk to. And when you talk to those people, or when you talk to God, somehow it helps. The disciples, knowing that Jesus was there to help them get through the storm until the point at which he made it stop. As I was walking round the treetop, holding on to my son's hand, helped me to keep going, because I knew there was somebody there with me, sharing in that slightly scary moment. So perhaps for you, you're worried about something, or you're scared about something now. Why don't you tell a grown-up that you trust, someone that you know cares about you and will look after you, what you're scared about. And perhaps by talking and sharing, you'll find that actually it's maybe not quite as scary as you thought, and that perhaps together you'll find a way through this. Now, like in all of my assemblies, I like to finish with a bit of an amen. Amen is simply a word we use in church to say we agree with a prayer that's been offered up to God. It's a fun way of ending a sentence or a paragraph when you're praying to God. And that's what we do here when I do my assemblies. And just to make sure, normally when we do this, this is in an assembly hall and there are teachers there, and sometimes they might have nodded off. So what we do is we roll our arms like this, and we say Amen at the top of our voices if we agree with the prayer. And whether you're watching this online at home, or whether you're watching this in school, perhaps we can do the same now. So let's pray. Dear God, thank you that you care about each one of us, and that even when we get scared or worried, we know that you are there to look after us. Help us to find people that we can talk to and tell those people that we are scared or we are worried about things. And help us to know that we can trust them and we can trust you in those scary times. Thank you that you will be with us always through every storm of life, no matter how big or scary it might be. Amen. See you again soon.